WT slaying.
Salama family, salama, how y'all doing today? Hope you're blessed on this Sabbath. So family, for some of the references that I'm going to be posting, I'm going to be showing, I'm going to post in the description. And if YouTube cuts me off again for some reason, you can go to Facebook and, under the Jacoby Veil, there's a group called Tail Ministry Live. You can join that and continue to watch the stream. And there's also DLive/TOTW. I don't know how long we're gonna be on DLive. I don't really like it too much, but it was just an alternative. So let me put my caveats out there, because I'm sure there's gonna be shows on this, because UA don't have nothing else to do anymore since they got all them L's last week. So I'm sure, they're going to move to this because they already did the 400 years. I just love seeing them with all the L's. But anyway, so what I want to do is like I say, I'm not saying thus says the Lord. I'm not saying this is, it. I mean, a lot of stuff is based upon, some speculation based upon evidence that we have, evidence built upon evidence over time. Also, if you haven't gone to Hebrew Sphere, go to Hebrew Sphere, join that. Because Hebrew Sphere in the Tail group, there's a discussion where we list a bunch of things that identify Africa and South Africa and that whole area, right? So let's get started here. I'm just sharing with you all today, as I said. Let me put it this way: do I believe the Middle East is our land? No, not at all. I don't believe at all. I mean, not at all that the Middle East is our land. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I believe it is Africa. I'm gonna show you why, and we're gonna just go down this journey and continue to build. So, what's up, Minister Dante? How's it going? What's up, family? Brother Rob, everybody. Sister Joe's daughter, how's it going? Everybody, glad y'all here. So, let me share some scripture before we get started. Oh, and one thing I wanted to say before we get started is I have a video. Now, with that video, I'm not going to play the sound. I put the closed caption. So the reason why I'm putting the closed caption is because I don't want YouTube cutting me off midstream anymore. I don't know what their rules are anymore. I don't know what you can show anymore. So I'm just going to show the closed caption. So I'll put the video in the description and you can go there later and watch the video with the sound. So, we'll see how that go. Okay, family. I don't know if that's going to work either, but just wanted to give you a heads up. So if you don't hear any sound, I'm not going to be playing the sound for that video, just the closed caption. All right. All right, Genesis 15:18. In the same day, the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying unto thy seed, have I given this land from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. So that's from what we will call the Nile River all the way to the river Euphrates. Now, the question is, what river are we talking about that is the true river Euphrates? Okay, this is The Earth and Its Inhabitants, okay, by Elise Recluse. It says, east of Great Popo begins the Dahomey territory, guarded by the important town of Glewe, known to Europeans by the various names of Fida, Wida, and we know a Judah, right? We know that whole thing. The old writers called it Judah, and its inhabitants were said to be Jews, while the neighboring river Alala, whose real name is Ephra, became the Euphrates. So this river became the Euphrates. Okay. And from my research, this was what we call the Niger River. Okay. So with the assumption here that what we saw, the territory given to Abraham was from the Nile all the way to the great river Euphrates, which is the Niger River. Thanks for the gift, my brother. So we're not talking about what we know as Euphrates in modern times. We're talking about the Euphrates here given by Elise Recluse. Okay. So we're looking at from the Nile River to the Niger River. This was the Alala River, okay, or Ephra, which became the Euphrates, okay, according to Elise Recluse. Excuse me, family. So this is for Africa containing what is of most use in Blovarenius, right? Salarius. I'm gonna put these links in the description if you want to go find it. Okay. So if you can see this here, it says the ancient boundaries of this kingdom were, as some say, Bugia on the north, which bounds with Egypt, and Nubia on the west. Nubia. On the west Nubia, the province of Kenphila and Delphi, the kingdom of Medria, part of Negroland, the land of the Jews. This is the part I want you to take note of, okay? Okay, Negroland, the land of the Jews. Now, many of us have, and I know me, you know, I'm one of them, who took that to mean that it's the land of the Jews because that is where we ended up. Okay. My contention today is that Negroland, and I'm going to show you why I believe this. My contention today is that Negroland is the promised land. He didn't say that, did he? Yes, my contention today is that Negroland is the promised land. So let me share this screen. You've all seen this before. This is Negroland. Okay. Now, this is the territory that they have outlined as Negroland. Now, all of that, you know, territory, in my opinion, goes all the way down to South Africa as well. But this is the territory known as Negroland, which I believe to be the biblical promised land. Just stick with me for a bit. I'm going to get you there. Okay, so remember, the Niger River is the river Euphrates, according to Elise Recluse. Okay, so the Niger River is the principal river of West Africa, extending 4,180 kilometers. Its drainage basin, 2,117, well, 2,117,700 kilometers in area. Its source is in the Guinea Highlands in southeastern Guinea. So I'm just going to read that part. But my point is, okay, this is the river here, the Niger River, which was called Ilala, which was called Ephra, which was called the Euphrates. Okay, so our territory that was given to Abraham and his descendants was from the Nile to the Euphrates, or from the Nile to the Niger River, which is the territory of the promised land, in my opinion. Now, let me continue. I'm going to show it again. This map, just to emphasize what I'm talking about. So from the great river Euphrates all the way to the endpoint right here of the Niger River is, in my opinion, the promised land, the land given to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, this is my opinion, and I'm going to show you some more. Okay, so here we see Negroland again in pink, right? It's called Negrithrum Terra, the land of the Negroes, Negroland. Okay, now I believe it goes all the way down to Guinea, as we see that our people are all in there as well. But I believe this is the promised land here, from the great Nile River all the way to Niger. All right. Now, remember, all of this is going to be built on a preponderance of evidence. And I suggest also, for additional resources on Africa being the promised land, you have to go to Hebrew Sphere and go to the list of, the discussion where we list a whole bunch of stuff, right? There's a lot of stuff not going to be covered. But all right, so here, I'm sure many of you all saw this map before, right? I forgot the name of the book, but I can get it for you. I have it somewhere. But anyway, I mean, this is well-known map, right? And if you all remember who the author is, just put it in the comments. All right, but here we see the areas in Africa peopled by Jews, right? All throughout the continent, peopled by Jews. Okay, and we know even to this day, this is a fact, that these areas within the African continent are peopled by Jews. All right. So I'm making a point. I'm going to show you this video. Now, remember, this video, I'm not playing the sound because I don't want to get blocked. I'm tired of them cutting off my stream. I don't know what they're going to block. I don't know what they're going to allow. Okay, until I figure that out, I'm going to try to either avoid other videos or not have sound. And so just take note of this video, watch it, make sure you read the comments, okay, because it's important to where we're going with this. And this particular video is from the Library of Congress. Okay, so the sound isn't on, just read the comments. Or read the closed caption, that is. Can y'all see this? Is this clear for everyone? If it is, put a 1. Now make sure you look at what he's showing here with these images. Okay, so I'm gonna stop it there. I hope you could follow what he was saying. Hopefully you were able to follow the closed caption and how he talked about the Bar Jacobs map, or the Haggadah map. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you these maps as well. So if you notice what he said, right? What he said is that it's the personification, that image is the personification of Africa, right? So I'm gonna show you first the color version of the map, and then I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna show you the black and white. Okay, this is the Abraham Bar Jacob, or the Haggadah map. So in the past, Hebrew geographical maps were relatively rare, but they all showed the land of Israel as a separate entity. So take note of that. They all show the land of Israel as a separate entity, stressing the sanctity and uniqueness of the country of Judaism. Abraham Bar Jacob, a convert to Judaism, drew a map of the Holy Land following that of Christian Adracom, 1588, incorporating many Jewish elements such as the route of the Exodus from Egypt to Canaan and the designation of territories of the 12 tribes of Israel. The map was reproduced in a Passover Haggadah as one of the earliest Hebrew printed maps. So look at this map, family. What does that remind you of? Does that remind you of the modern area we call Israel? Does that remind you of the modern area called Jerusalem? Look at the ocean. Look at the ship in the ocean right there. Does that remind you of the modern area in the Middle East, or does it remind you of Negroland? Now, remember, at the top, what did he say? He says, but they all showed the land of Israel as what? A separate entity. So they showed the land, let's assume this is Negroland. They showed Negroland as a separate entity. This is the case I'm making, all right? So I'm going to continue. All right, so hold on, let me get this right. All right, so once again, this is the original map. It's the same as the color one, and you can see these Hebrew writings on it, right? Once again, this territory here does not look like the Middle East, right? Remember, the Middle East goes on a slant. It's on a diagonal, right? Now, one of the things that he was showing, hold on, let me see. One of the things that he was showing in the video is this character right here. You see the character right here. See this character right here, family? This character right here is the personification of a continent, according to him. It's the personification of Africa. Now, the other thing he did, and I'm going to show you that. So keep that in mind. So we have a landmass that looks like Negroland, right? And we have a landmass called Negroland. And let me get out of the zoom up view and read the description. A good example of the 1712 Amsterdam Haggadah and map of the Holy Land, the first obtainable map of the Holy Land to utilize entirely Hebrew lettering. So this here, according to this, see the description, says it is the Holy Land, right? Now, and remember, I'm gonna have this video. I'm gonna have it in the description. You could go see it later. This image right here of the person sitting on a crocodile with the little umbrella or whatever you call those things is the personification of Africa. All right, so let's continue. So another example that was given is the Orbitarum typus de integral multis in locis, whatever, you see it. Basically the Petro-Planceo map, 1594. Okay, let's look at this map. All right, so right here, what do you see, family? Let me make this larger for you. All right, can you all see that? You see this person sitting on the crocodile, right? Has the little umbrella, right? And what does it say right here over his head? Africa, right? Africa. So this is the personification of Africa, right? And we see Africa right here on the map. Now, I just want you to see something else. Over here on the left is the personification of Mexico. It says Mexicana, right? There's a reason why I'm showing this. And when you get the map, you can look at it again. So this right here is an atlas. It's the Mercator Atlas. Now, remember the map I showed you with the person sitting on the alligator? It didn't look exactly like the one we had on the Haggadah map, but this one does. Look up here on the right. Right, it's exactly like the one on the Haggadah map. And remember, the one on the left on the other map, we saw Mexicana. And I'm going to give you a closer up view of that. All right, so this is the personification, according to the Mercator Atlas, of Africa. All right, of Africa. This is on the left is the personification of Mexico. So we made our case, right, that this woman who's sitting on the crocodile with the little umbrella is the personification of Africa. If that is the personification of Africa, right? If that is the personification of Africa, and we got the Haggadah map, and the Haggadah map is of the Holy Land, right? And then this personification on this map of Africa means that this map is Africa, right? If this woman sitting on a crocodile in the lower right corner with the umbrella, as we showed in the Mercator map, is the personification of Africa, then this map is Africa. Now, the question is, what part of Africa are we talking about? I make the contention that this is Negroland. Now, because it looks like Negroland. And what did we see? That Negroland is what? The land of the Jews. And Negroland is what? The promised land, at least according to this map here. If we assume this is Negroland, right? That the Haggadah map is Negroland. Because it says this is the personification of Africa, right? We saw the map of that. Then this map must be Africa. Am I reaching? I'm just asking. All right, so let's continue. So the question we have to ask ourselves, family, when does coincidence stop being coincidence? So this is a portion of the Cottonian map of 995, right? reoriented with north at the top, showing just Africa. I'm going to show you a different orientation because this orientation sort of messed me up, right? But I want you to look at this. I'm going to flip it around. But I want you to look at this map. See right here on the right-hand side, it shows Egyptus Superior. And on the left-hand side, it shows Mauritania to prove that this map is Africa. I'm going to show you the other one because it's a little clearer. All right. So if you look here, family, my contention is this is the east part of Africa, right? Because here we see the circle right there. It says Egyptus Superior. And then on the west coast, right, it shows Mauritania. All right. Now, there's a little tongue right here in the middle, right? And you will see a little circle right there. It says Jerusalem. Jerusalem. Now, the question is, where is this, right? Because at the very top of the map, you'll see Libya. And right on that diagonal is Jerusalem. Now, since this particular map isn't proportional to our modern maps, it's sort of hard to pinpoint the location. So the question is, could it be the Kalahari Desert? I don't know. Could it be over there by the Orange River? I don't know. Could it be over there by Cameroon? I mean, it looks to me like it's near Nigeria and Cameroon, right? Now, you're going to see over here on the far right that they have a map of Europe. Now, as you saw, you'll see as you watch the video, right? They take parts out. They'll take parts out and just have part of a continent, or they'll take parts out and put it where it don't belong, basically, right? So my contention is, okay, here we see East Africa because we got Egyptus, we got Media, we got Syria over here on the east, right? We have Persia, we have Chaldea, we have the Ammonites, all in this area where modern Middle East is. So over here, if you look all the way to the far right, that circle, it says Arabia. See the little tongue? You have Arabia. So we know this is the east part of the continent, right? Well, that goes into the Middle East, right? So you're going to have to look at this closer, right? But definitely in the heart of Africa is Jerusalem. Not only do we have Jerusalem here in the middle, we have the name of the tribes. We have Asher, we have Zebulon, we have the tribe of Dan, right? And we have Manasseh, we have Gad, we have Reuben, all in the Middle East. All in the continent of Africa right here. Right now, some are in parts of East Africa, and some are in what we call middle to the South Africa. Because remember, this map isn't to scale, but we do know this is the continent of Africa, okay? Because we have Mauritania on the west, we have Egypticus on the left. We have, according to this map, we have Mauritania on the west coast or the west side, and we have Egyptus Superior or Egypt on the east, right? And then we have all of the other ones like Arabia and everything. That lets us know this map is Africa. And it shows Jerusalem in Africa. All right. And it has the tribes, okay, in Africa. Now, one thing I want to show you again is the Haggadah map. Because if you look at the Haggadah map, and remember, we saw on the colored version of the Haggadah map that they stated that they take out pieces of the continent. That's what they stated. It's not the whole thing. right? And we can tell from this coastline that this doesn't fit anywhere else. It definitely doesn't fit the Middle East. So this coastline, from what I can see, fits what? Parts of Africa, right? And not only that, we have the personification image, which we showed the Mercator map, the Mercator Atlas ties this particular map personification to Africa. And I'm going to show that one more time. Okay. Thank you for the gift. So I want you to look at something else too, family. If you look on the right side, because here's my contention, okay, and you got to watch the video. It'll really help. Over here, my contention is that the west coast of Africa is probably on the right side of this image, and the east coast is probably on the left, right? Why do I say that? If you see this little landmass on the right, right? If you see that little landmass, in my opinion, that landmass represents the New World. And you got to watch the video to get that. But I'm going to show you one of the maps he showed in the video. And he flipped the map upside down like this. All right. So he flipped the map upside down. Now you can see Africa right here. Okay. Now over here on the far right, according to the guy in the video, over here on the far right, it represents the New World. And so that's why I say that on the Haggadah map, that it was flipped. Just like he was showing here. You'll watch the video and he flips it like this to show that it's the New World on the far right. And north is south and south is north. So right here is an article, how north ended up on the top of the map. See, as you see here, Africa is flipped, just like we saw in the other map. So why do maps always show the north as up? For those who don't just take it for granted, the common answer is that the Europeans made the maps and they wanted to be on top. But there's really no good reason for the north to claim top-notch cartographic real estate over any other bearing, as an examination of old maps from different places and periods can confirm. The profound arbitrariness of our current cartographic conventions was made evident by MacArthur's Universal Corrective Map of the World, an iconic upside-down view of the world that recently celebrated its 35th anniversary. Launched by Australian Stuart MacArthur on January 26, 1979, this map is supposed to challenge our casual acceptance of European perspectives as global norms. But seen today with the title Australia, no longer down under, it's hard not to wonder why the upside down map, for all its subserviency, wasn't called Botswana, back where it belongs, or perhaps Paraguay paramount. The MacArthur map also makes us wonder why we are so quick to assume that Northern Europeans were the ones who invented the modern map and decided which way to hold it in the first place. As is so often the case, our eagerness to invoke Eurocentrism displays a certain bias of its own, since in fact the North's elite cartographic status owes more to Byzantine monks and Majorcan Jews than it does to any Englishman. There is nothing inevitable or intrinsically correct, not in geographic, cartographic, or even philosophical terms, about the North being represented as up, because up on a map is a human construct, not a natural one. Some of the very earliest Egyptian maps show the South as up, presumably equating the Nile's northward flow with the force of gravity. And there was a long stretch in the medieval era when most European maps were drawn with the East on top. If there was any doubt about this move's religious significance, they illuminated it with their map's pious illustrations, whether of Adam and Eve or Christ enthroned. In same period, Arab map makers often drew maps with the south facing up, possibly because this was how the Chinese did it. So you could go read the rest of this. I'll put these in the comments. But, so when we look at some of these maps and we see, well, where is Judah, and where are the other tribes, the northern tribes and all these things, our north and south, we may need to flip it, right? We may need to flip it because certain people drew north as south and south as north. Okay. So my point is in this video, and hopefully it was clear, right? Because I'm going to sum this up and that's going to be it. This is the Haggadah map. My contention is that this looks like Negroland to me. And according to this description, the Haggadah map is a map of the Holy Land. And according to this book, Negroland is the land of the Jews. The land of the Jews is the promised land. And remember, as I told you in my other videos, the modern Middle East could not hold all of the nations that the Bible talks about that was in that land. It couldn't do it. So my contention is that Negroland is the promised land. Peace and blessings, Israel. Your captivity is ending. Love you with the love of the Messiah. Your captivity is ending, Israel. Do your research. Look at the maps. Go to Hebrew Sphere. Join. Become a part of the research family. And go to Black History in the Bible. I'm gonna make my way over there and start adding some things as well. Thank you for the gift. Thank you for the gift, Sister Doreen. All right, family. That's it. That's all I got. Love you with the love of the Messiah. Peace out.